my favorite friends, it's Miss M here. Today I have some new books to share with you all, and I wonder if you can guess the theme of our stories. I have a book called Caterpillars and Butterflies, Butterflies, Butterflies again. This has been a favorite in our classroom. It's called The Very Impatient Caterpillar. It's a hilarious book. We love this book in our class. And the one I'm going to share with you today is called Velma, Gratch, and the Way Cool Butterfly. It's written by Alan Madison and Kevin Hawkes. So if you notice the theme between all the books that I had today, they are all about caterpillars and how caterpillars grow into butterflies. And my friends in my class, you know that we just received a beautiful gift, and our student teacher actually received this gift, but we got a jar of 5 caterpillars that we are gonna raise as our class pets and kind of virtually take care of them and watch them grow from caterpillars to then they'll eventually make their chrysalis, and then they'll become butterflies. So I thought today we could learn a little bit more about their life cycle and explore this really fun story all about Velma Gratch. Are you ready? Let's get started. So just gonna take a look at the cover and think about what you notice and maybe what the cover is making you wonder about this story. What do you see and what do you notice? I notice a scholar. She looks like maybe she's in elementary school, and her eyes look really wide and bright, and she's looking up at a beautiful butterfly. And to me, her face looks like she's really excited and like she's just amazed by this butterfly. So I think maybe she loves nature, and it looks like she especially loves butterflies. Let's find out. Velma Gratch was the youngest of the 3 Gratch sisters. Frida, the oldest, had gone through 1st grade first, followed by Fiona, and now it was Velma's turn. And make a connection if you have siblings or sisters. Connection. And she's the youngest of 3 sisters. The choir teacher remembered Frida best because she had a voice like an angel. The gym teacher remembered Fiona best because she ran so fast. And the 1st grade teacher, Mr. Plexippus, fondly remembered both sisters because of Frida's miraculous math and Fiona's spectacular spelling. Everyone, from the class guinea pig to the principal, had magnificent memories of the older Gratch girls, but they could hardly even remember Velma's name. This made Velma feel as if she didn't belong in the 1st grade at all. She wanted to curl into a ball and roll right back into kindergarten. Of course you belong, cooed Velma's mother, trying to cheer her up. You've only just begun. Soon everybody will notice you. Velma couldn't wait. She needed to be noticed now. In choir, Velma sang the loudest so that the teacher could hear her best. In gym, she ran the slowest so that the gym teacher could see her best. And in class, she refused to read, and she muddled up her math. That means she made a lot of mistakes. Mr. Plexippus lamented that she was the 1st Gratch sister ever sent to the principal's office. This brought a small smile to Velma's lips. It seems like she wanted to be the first to do something of her sisters. Littlest Gratch, why are you singing so loudly in choir and running so slowly in gym? Inquired Principal crossly. Because, answered Velma, I want you to remember me just like you remember Frida and Fiona. The principal's owlish eyes opened wide. But my dear, those Gratches are remembered for positive things. Velma's small smile pretzel twisted into a full-blown frown. Look at her face. Poor Velma. That's her principal. These are all the crazy things she's been doing at school to try and get noticed. So I'm imagining that I think Velma feels kind of sad and maybe even a little bit invisible. And she really wants to be noticed and remembered just like her sisters were remembered, right? So make a connection if you've ever felt like that, especially if maybe you're the younger sibling. That's ever happened to you before. Make a connection. Science was Velma's favorite subject. I love this illustration. She had learned many fabulous facts, like how a rainbow is born and why a volcano burps. The latest lesson was all about butterflies. Mr. Plexipus explained that a butterfly first starts as an egg. The egg turns into a caterpillar. The caterpillar disappears into a chrysalis, which is a little sac and does not come out until it has changed into a beautiful butterfly. He called this changing metamorphosis. And you can clap that word out with me. Metamorphosis. Good job, friends. Velma didn't want to forget this extra long word. It has a lot of syllables. So she repeated it again and again as she walked home. Metamorphosis.
Metamorphosis.
Metamorphosis. She repeats it 3 times. So my friends, I think that means that this is an important word that we want to know. Hi, friend.
Uh-oh.
Come on in. So since Velma repeated it 3 different times, that tells me it's an important word. So we know that, what does metamorphosis mean? She describes it, her science teacher explained that it's that process that a caterpillar goes through, or a butterfly goes through. First starting as an egg, then it becomes a caterpillar, then it goes into chrysalis, and the last part is when it becomes a butterfly. So now we know we can save that word in our brains. Metamorphosis explains that process. Frida, when you were in 1st grade, did you study butterflies? Velma asked her oldest sister. No, we learned about worms, Frida replied. Fiona, when you were in 1st grade, did you study butterflies? Velma asked her middle sister. No, we found out about frogs, Fiona stated. Well, said Velma proudly, we are studying butterflies and metamorphosis this. She's having a hard time remembering that word, metamorphosis. That's way cool, Frida declared, and Fiona bobbled her head in way cool agreement. So she's kind of checking out her sisters, and she's noticing they didn't get to study butterflies in 1st grade. I think that makes her feel kind of special. Velma read everything in the library about butterflies. She discovered that there are 20,000 different kinds. I didn't even know that. That's a lot of different species of butterflies. She adored the ones with colorful names like brown elfin, frosted flasher, and sleepy orange, and the ones with funny names like comma, question mark, American snout. Not to mention the ones with strange names like morpho, painted lady. Those are the kinds that we are raising, friends. We're raising painted ladies. And gossamer wing. And there they are in that beautiful jar. There's the caterpillars. But her favorite butterfly of all was the orange and black monarch. When it got cold, all the monarchs would fly south to Mexico to stay warm. Velma thought this was an amazing coincidence because last winter vacation, she and her family had also flown south to Mexico to stay warm. So she's making a connection with the butterflies. When it gets cold out, her family vacations in a warmer place. Just like the butterflies, when they feel cold, they also go south to another place called Mexico that's warmer. In science, Mr. Plexipus announced that they would take a class trip to the Butterfly Conservatory, a place where real butterflies were collected and cared for. Because Velma didn't want to forget this extra long word, she repeated it again and again as she walked home. Clap it out with me. Conservatory. Conservatory. So she repeats it 3 times. Conservatory. 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 She's trying to remember that word. And let's make sure we remember it too, since she said it 3 times. So it sounds like a conservatory is a place where animals are cared for. And in this case, Velma's going to be going to the Butterfly Conservatory on a field trip. So that means it's a place where they take care of butterflies. Frida, did you take a class trip in 1st grade? Velma asked her older sister. Absolutely. We went to the museum, Frida replied. Fiona, did you take a class trip in 1st grade? Velma asked her middle sister. Absolutely. We went to the aquarium, Fiona stated. Well, said Velma proudly, we're going to the can serve the story. She can't say conservatory, but now you know how to say it. That's way cool, Frida declared, and Fiona bobbled her head in way cool agreement. So friends, at this point in the story, I'm imagining that Velma feels pretty special and pretty unique, that she's about to have a new experience that her sisters haven't gotten to have yet, because they went on different field trips, they studied different animals when they were in first grade. So I'm getting the feeling like she's really excited for this new experience. Then came the day of her field trip. The butterfly conservatory was surrounded by fancy flower beds and bedecked with banners of butterflies. Velma was so excited her knobby knees wobbled, her spaghetti arms trembled, and her carroty curls shook. A sharp-nosed woman holding a clipboard introduced herself. I am your tour guide. Inside, a butterfly might land on you, but please don't touch its wings. Does anybody know why? She asked. Velma's hand shot up. Because they're made of teeny tiny scales that could rub off like dust, and that's not good, she explained. Precisely, said the guide. What is your name? I'm Velma, the youngest of the 3 Gratch sisters. Huh, I don't think I know your sisters, the guide commented as they entered the rainforested room. So this is a new tour guide for Velma that doesn't know anything about her sisters. But it sounds like she was impressed with the knowledge that Velma knew about butterflies and how you shouldn't touch their wings. It was a magical space slathered in tall trees and tangled vines. Water gurgled over rocks and butterflies of every variety, giant swallowtails, short-tailed skippers, pygmy blues, and best of all, monarchs, flew up to forever. The guide explained that when it got colder in a couple of weeks, she would take the monarchs into the park and let them go free so that they could fly to Mexico. This traveling was called migration. You got it. That's the next key word we're going to put into our brains too. Clap it out with me. Migration. Migration. Because Velma didn't want to forget this extra long word, she repeated it again and again as she walked through the rainforest. Migration. 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 And we know that that word means movement. So it could mean movement of people. It could also, in this case, mean movement of animals like butterflies, right? We talked about that word when my dad was able to come on Zoom with us, and he shared how he migrated from Jamaica to the United States. So when he moved or emigrated from Jamaica to the United States, that was also a form of migration. When Miss Leslie read the book Dreamers, we heard about how a woman migrated with her baby, right, to the United States. And in this case, we're going to learn about how butterflies migrate south to stay warm. A gorgeous green comma rested on Randy's head. You can see that's one of her classmates. Oh, there's a glare. A baby brown elfin settled on Sandy's nose. The class awed. Oh, and Randy's, the class oohed. I forgot that part. A big blue morpho alighted on Andy's shoulder. The class gasped. But not one single butterfly landed on any part of Velma. Oh, I think she's feeling upset. Time to leave, instructed Mr. Plexipus as they neared the exit. A tear formed in a distant corner of Velma's eye. All she wanted was one single tingly touch of a butterfly. On a nearby branch sat a most lovely monarch. Remember, that's her favorite kind. How she yearned to pet those velvety wings. She moved slowly. The class was leaving. One more inch, it was so pretty, she froze. If she touched its wings, it might. Velma couldn't do it. She couldn't hurt a butterfly. Come now, Velma, we have to go. Sadly, Velma turned away. And at that very moment, the most marvelous thing happened. Make a prediction right here, friends. What do you think happened next? Velma refused to touch it because she didn't want to hurt it. So what do you think happened next? The monarch hopped from its branch and roosted right on Velma's finger. I love this page. Look at that, illustration's fantastic. Delicate wings slowly folding, antennae twitching, weightless and wondrous, the insect sat. Velma was in heaven. Think about the illustration. And the look on her face, it looks very similar to our magic page on the cover. What feelings might Velma be feeling in this moment? Probably excitement, overjoyed, just really happy. The bus is waiting, her teacher called. Velma placed her finger next to the branch. Bye-bye, butterfly, she whispered. But the monarch didn't move. We're closing, said the guide. Velma lightly blew on the butterfly. It didn't budge. Without ever touching the butterfly's wings, everyone tried to get the monarch to fly, crawl, or walk off Velma's finger. But nothing worked. At last, Velma was told to leave with the butterfly still perched on her pointer finger. As you can see, it's still there. It stayed there on the bus ride home. Look at everybody staring at her. It stayed there when she slept and was still there when she awoke. It stayed during gym, math, reading, ballet, soccer. Day in and day out, it stayed put on that pointer. Soon everyone, from the class guinea pig to the principal, knew about Velma and her butterfly. So imagine how excited Velma might be feeling at this point in the story. If you love butterflies, and especially monarchs, and this one is refusing to come off of her finger, she must be ecstatic, which is a delicious word for just really happy. Mr. Plexippus lamented that Velma was positively the first Gratch ever sent to the principal's office twice. This stuck an oversized frown on Velma's face. Velma, Principal crossly commanded, it is time for the butterfly to go. Oh, I've tried to get it to go, Velma moaned, but it just won't. Well, no one will ever forget this, the principal fumed. Velma's frown, pretzel twisted into a small smile. Hey, I know what to do, she proclaimed. Migration. What's she trying to say? Migration, right? Velma paraded Principal Crossley, Mr. Plexippus, her class, Frida, and Fiona to the local park. Car horns honked, people yelled, but despite all the commotion, the monarch did not move. Make another prediction. Where do you think they're going? And what's Velma's plan with that butterfly? Make a prediction. A cool wind from the west blew through the field. In the middle stood the tour guide from the conservatory, carefully opening an enormous sack. A single monarch butterfly stepped out, looked around, and flitted away. It was trailed by 10, then 10 more, soaring up and up until the sky overflowed with thick clouds of orange and black. What's happening? Wondered Fiona. Why are you letting them go? Demanded Fiona. Migration, answered the guide. Yeah, migration, Velma repeated. The wind tousled Velma's hair and tickled her butterfly's wings. The monarch jumped onto her nose as if to give her a quick kiss, and then took flight to join all of its friends. Over the treetops it flew, over the skyscrapers and up into the wild blue, orange, and black yonder, on its way to Mexico. Another really lovely page. So beautiful when they join their group like that. Velma, shouted Principal crossly, and every eye turned toward her. Oh no, fretted Velma, sure that she was about to become the only Gratch ever sent to the principal's office 3 times. That was way cool, the principal said, and one and all bobbled their heads in way cool agreement. Then, with her fine finger where the monarch had sat still a tingle, Velma, followed by her 2 sisters, floated all the way home. And on this page you have a bunch of different butterfly species or types. And if you zoom in, you can see, and maybe I'll post a picture with zooming in on this page so we can see all the different types. And at the front, there were also some more here too. These are different types of caterpillars that grow or change or metamorphosize into different kinds of butterflies. All right, my friends, thanks for watching.